What's going on, guys? Tom Costanza here, back with another YouTube video, posting videos every single Sunday morning. Today, we are going to be making Italian Christmas cookies. There's really nothing more to explain here. Let's get right into the video. So we need to make sure that we have all of our ingredients first, and we do. We have our flour, sugar, vanilla, baking powder, sprinkles, milk, butter, confection sugar, and we have our eggs in the fridge. This recipe that I'm going to go over with you guys yields 100 cookies, so plan accordingly whether you're making them for a big gathering or a small gathering. But let's break down these measurements into the correct measurements and start mixing. Okay, so our first step here is going to be to cream together 1 cup of salted butter and our sugar. So sugar in, 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 1 cup of butter. Now at this part, you would want to use an electric mixer just to beat them together until smooth, but we're just going to use a fork just to prove a point. All right, so after about 2 minutes, I think we have a pretty smooth mixture here. Okay, now our next step is going to be to add in our eggs. I'm going to add in the eggs one at a time just to slowly mix them in. Then I'm going to add in our vanilla. Then I'm going to add in our baking powder. You want to do all of these with the electric mixer as well. I'm going to be using a fork. I would say after the second egg, it's pretty safe to use a whisk, so I'm going to be switching from fork to whisk. We're whipping together nicely after 4 eggs. Okay, now we need to add in our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then our 5 teaspoons of baking powder. If you're following along and doing it yourself, this was the easy part. This is where if you're using an electric mixer, you want to ditch the electric mixer, and this is where eating your Wheaties really comes into play. These next steps are going to be all hand mixing, and we have 5 cups of flour. I'm going to be adding each cup of flour 1 cup at a time, and then we're going to keep mixing until we have a dough. Here we go with cup number 1. Number 2. This is thickening up already. This is where I mean eating your Wheaties really comes into play. I would say after about cup number 2 of flour, it's time to ditch the whisk. We gotta go back to a fork, back to a rubber scraper, back to a wooden spoon, something stronger. Now it's time for cup number 3. Okay, so this is after cup number 3. It's starting to become a pretty thick dough. I think after cup number 3, we're gonna ditch the fork and need something with a little bit more leverage. So we're gonna switch to a wooden spoon. Bringing in the big guns. Now it's time to talk about cup number 4. Now cup number 4, this is where you want to turn the AC down in your house. This is where it being cool wherever you live really matters. You're gonna start to break a sweat on cup number 4. I don't even want to talk about cup number 5 yet. All right, cup number 4 done. Final cup. Okay, I'm not really sure how much time has elapsed, but we are officially done mixing. Now what we're gonna do, we have to let this chill for a few hours, so I'm gonna put this in some saran wrap. We're gonna throw it in the fridge, let it chill. I'm gonna change outfits, drink a protein shake, put a Band-Aid on my blister, and then we're gonna come back and turn this dough ball into cookies. So we have our dough here. We're just gonna throw this in the fridge for a few hours, let it harden up a little bit, and then we'll check back in. Peace. Oh, I guess I should turn the camera off. Okay guys, so it's been about an hour. We have our dough here. It's relatively cool. It's still a little soft to the touch, but we're just gonna work with it in small segments. So we're gonna unwrap it here. We're just gonna cut probably about 1/3 of it off. Then we're just gonna wrap the rest up to keep it cool. A few other things going on. We have our oven preheating to 375, and then we have a large cookie sheet here that is not coated with any spray or anything like that. This is fully loaded with butter. That'll be enough for the cookies not to stick. Now that we have this, we need to roll out our dough into about a finger thickness or pencil thickness. So let's do that. You could add a little bit of flour just to make it a little less sticky. Once we have them about a finger or a pencil thickness, I like to cut them in about 4-inch segments. And once you have your 4-inch segment, I actually tend to roll it a little bit thinner. About 6 or 7 inches. These are also called once around the finger. So I tend to just wrap it around my finger and tie like a little knot. And there you go. There you have one. Now you have 99 more to go. Okay, so we have about 9 already made. I'm gonna go knock out the rest of these and we'll check back in once I'm ready to put these in the oven. Now all we need to do is make a whole bunch more and then we'll be ready to start icing them. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get to work on my end and then we're gonna check back in once we have probably about all 100 of these made. So we'll see you soon. Okay, so we just put 4 batches of cookies all into the oven. I ended up cooking them for, it's probably about 12 minutes or so. You wanna wait until there's a golden brown on the bottom of the cookie. So we ended up with 85 cookies, which means I made some a little bit big. Obviously, some are small, some are big. But now we need to wait for these to fully cool until we add our icing. And the icing is just confection sugar, a little bit of milk, and then it ends up drying, so we need to add the sprinkles nice and quick. So I'll show you what everything looks like up close. We'll put the icing on and the sprinkles on, but I'm very excited to try one. Okay, and then once all of our cookies are cool, we want to make our icing. So our icing is confection sugar, a few drops of milk, and then we put some Betty Crocker sprinkles on, not the long ones, the small circle ones. We want to put them on top before it cools and hardens. So I'm going to bring you guys up close as we make the icing. Okay, so the recipe calls for about a cup or so of confection sugar. So we're just going to eyeball hopefully about a cup. Once you have your cup of confection sugar, you're just going to add a little bit of milk. We're going to do a cap. And then we're going to mix until it becomes a very strong and thick boy paste. Okay, there we go. We have our icing extremely thick. And then we're going to use these sprinkles to put on top. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to go down the line. Just put some icing on it. Then you have to be really quick with the sprinkles. We're going to fast forward until all of these are completely done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have our 85 Italian Christmas cookies. They're all iced up. They're all covered in sprinkles. They're ready to go. Now, it is time for a taste test. After that cookie right there, I'm officially in the holiday spirit. Now it's time to say goodbye. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of the video. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below. Definitely try this recipe for yourself. The recipe is going to be in the description down below. See you guys next Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.